On tonight's North Fulton Prep Rally, the basketball season is over, but we are taking one last look at the 2011-2012 boys hoop season. We relive the glory from Milton and Alpharetta's historic playoff runs and take a look at which teams will be contenders again next year. Plus, we honor the standout individual players that rose above the competition on our All NFPR team. Tell your friends. It's time to hoop it up one more time before we shoot the lights out on the 2012 season, and it starts right now.
Comcast presents your source for North Fulton High School sports. This is North Fulton Prep Rally.
Hello and welcome to another edition of North Fulton Prep Rally, your weekly high school sports program featuring the very best North Fulton High School action. I'm Chase Watson, joined by Nathan Shutter year-round on Comcast Channel 25. Catch us here weeknights at 6, 8, and 10. And Nathan, when it comes to boys basketball in North Fulton, no team is more dominant than the Milton Eagles, and they got it done again this season.
Yeah, after a little bit of disappointment last year, the Milton Eagles bring home the big prize and had a little adversity again this year with Charles Mann being suspended for that semifinals and championship game. But at the end, they were the best team in the state, and they got it done, winning the 5A state title.
And they were ridiculously fun to watch while doing it.
It was a highlight reel pretty much every game.
Seriously. Time now to take a look back at the boys teams from around North Fulton, and we start in Region 6 5A with the Milton Eagles.
There's those 2012 5A state champions going 29-4 overall, 12-0 in the region. Of course, 3 of those losses were forfeits when Charles Mann's eligibility was in question. He, of course, was eventually cleared. They won 25 straight games to end the season. Only 1 loss on the actual court to Tift County. 4th straight championship game, 2nd title in 3 years for the Milton Eagles.
A great year for Alpharetta.
Probably the best story all season long. The Alpharetta, 19-13 overall, 6-6 in the region. They come in as a 3 seed, make it all the way to the semifinals. They're the first 12-loss team to ever make the semifinals. First of playoff appearance for the school of Alpharetta, and they make it all the way to the Final Four. They finish ranked number 4 in 5A.
And Centennial had a pretty good year.
Yeah, 15-4 overall, 8-4 in the region. They were the number 2 seed from Region 6. They unfortunately were upset in the first round by Marietta, 65-57. A very good Marietta squad, I might add, but they lost that game. They graduate 7 seniors that played a lot of basketball this year. The Pack twins come to mind as 2 very big contributors they will be without next year.
And how about Northview?
They finished 15-13 overall, 7-5 in the region. They were the number 4 seed from Region 6. They lost to Wheeler 71-63 in the first round. They really struggled down the stretch, losing 3 straight to end the season. They graduate most of their starting lineup, including Kyle Meyer, the big guy, and Evan Jacks, their sharpshooting guard.
And last but not least, Roswell.
Yeah, tough. No, actually, it was a pretty good season. And for Roswell, 14-12 overall, 7-5 in region. It was a tough region playoff loss. So I called it a coin flip game between them and Alpharetta to see who would get in the state playoffs. And Alpharetta ends up blowing them out by 30. They had won 4 straight games before falling to Milton and Alpharetta to end the season. They were red hot coming in that region tournament. Really thought that they had the better opportunity. Alpharetta got that win, and they went on to do some pretty great things this season.
Now, is the Milton dominance over, or do you expect them to be a contender again next season?
I think it's hard to ever count Milton out. I know they're going to lose a ton of talent off this team, but hey, they lost a ton of talent last year, came back, won a state championship. They have a lot of young guys on their team that maybe didn't get a lot of playing time this year, but will moving forward. Jalen Patterson had a ton of playing time as a sophomore, a very good player, a good shooter. They have guys like that coming in, and when you build tradition like Milton has done, you're going to get the transfers like Charles Mann who want to come play for Coach Boyd and be a part of that tradition. It's just inevitable. I know a lot of people don't like the transfers, but it happens. I mean, it's hard to tell guys that, no, you can't come play at our school because you're talented, and people might get upset. So I expect them to keep playing. Now, things will get interesting next year because in their new region, Wheeler is a part of it. So it should be a lot of fun seeing those guys go head-to-head a couple times a season.
Well, they really have been just a basketball factory the last few years, so I'm pretty sure they'll be all right.
I expect it to continue.
Well, there's a lot of good basketball played in Region 6, but it's not the only place to see high-quality hoops. So let's take a look at the rest of North Fulton, and we start with the Chattahoochee Cougars.
Yeah, it would have been fun to see these guys go up against Milton a couple times in region schedule. They go 25-6, 13-2 in region. They were the 2012 Region 7-4A tournament champions. They lost to Southwest DeKalb 68-63 in the quarterfinals. A very tough game against a very good team. Only 2 region losses were when Jerron Blossomgame was suspended. They finished number 5 in Quad A.
Tough year for Johns Creek.
Oh, very difficult, going 4-21 overall, 2-13 in the region. They did not make the state playoffs. They lost to Cass 71-55 in the region tournament. A very inexperienced team, just 2 seniors. Adam Thiessen, definitely their leader this year. And they almost pulled that big upset against Chattahoochee. Just fell a little bit short, but they'll get better and they'll rebound for next season.
Pretty good run by North Springs.
Yeah, good season overall, 15-11, 6-6 in the region. They lost to Cedar Grove 68-58 in the region tournament. They will be in 5A next season in the same region as Northview, so we'll get to see a lot more of them. They lost 5 of their last 7 games. Sam Cole and John White, their 2 leading scorers, both seniors, so there'll be some new faces next year for the Spartans.
What about Blessed Trinity?
A good year, 16-10 overall, 6-4 in the region. Unfortunately, did not make the state playoffs. They lost to Decatur 37-29 in the region tournament. 4 seniors on the squad, but they have several sophomores and juniors to build around next season as they go into a whole new region, just like most of the teams around North Fulton will experience next year.
And lastly, the Wesleyan Wolves.
Yeah, pretty good year for Wesleyan, 18-12 overall, 5-3 in the region. They were the number 4 seed from Region 5. They got that big win in the play-in game against Green Forest Academy, then lost to Mount Perrin in the second round, 42-33. 4 seniors, including Shane Smith, who is probably their best overall player, but Will Clifton and Charles Mack, only juniors. They'll be back next year, so should be a good run again out of Wesleyan.
Now, Chattahoochee's had a pretty good run in 4A the last couple of years. How do you think they transition into 6A?
I think they're going to do pretty well. I mean, you can't just replace a guy like Jerron Blossomgame, the all-time leading scorer at Chattahoochee, but they have a guy named Marcus Terry who's a pretty good junior, and I looked for him to be the go-to guy next year for Chattahoochee, and I don't think the talent level is that much different between 5A and 4A this year, and 6A is kind of going to be a little bit of a watered-down 5A next year, so I think they're going to fare very well. They're going to be in the same region with Alpharetta, so those should be some really fun games with Ty Toney and Carlos Burris going head-to-head against Marcus Terry and the rest of the Cougars, so it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, those are going to be some seriously fun matchups. Well, North Fulton is a hotbed for talented players, and it's time we recognize those individuals on our All NFPR first team, beginning with Milton's Evan Nolte.
It seems like this guy's been around forever, got starting time as a freshman and sophomore. He finishes up his senior year with a state championship, averaged 17 points a game, 7 rebounds per game. He was the 5A Georgia Coaches Association North Player of the Year. He is committed to Virginia, where he'll compete in the ACC next year. The team went 113-15 during his 4-year career.
And then we have the dunk master, Shaquille Johnson.
The high flyer. This guy put smiles on everybody's faces around North Fulton with his dunking ability. Averaged 16 points a game, 6 boards, 2.5 blocks per game. He was first team All-State. The senior going to Auburn next year to compete on the Plains, and I look for more of this high-flying highlight reels coming to ESPN soon.
Also joining the team, Jerron Blossomgame of Chattahoochee.
A big year, 25.6 points per game, 8.2 rebounds, and almost 3 blocks per game. He was second team All-State. He finishes the all-time leading scorer, rebounder, and shot blocker in Chattahoochee's school history. He is committed to the University of Clemson, so him and Evan Nolte will be going up against each other in the ACC for several years to come.
We also have Northview's big man, Kyle Meyer.
Yeah, 6'10". He averaged 12.3 rebounds per game, 17.8 points per game, and almost 3 blocks per game. He also finishes as Northview's all-time leading scorer, rebounder, and shot blocker. He is committed to the University of Iowa, heading to Big Ten country. So much versatility in his game. He is 6'10", but he can shoot it from the outside as well.
The final member of the first team, Ty Toney of Alpharetta.
He kind of came out of nowhere a little bit this year. Only a junior. He averaged 18.6 points per game for the season, but in the playoffs is where he really made a name for himself, averaging over 27 points per game, just under 7 rebounds per game, and 3 assists per game. He was named to the All-State North squad, only a junior. Very excited to see what the future holds for Mr. Toney.
Time for you to give out an award. Who's your North Fulton Player of the Year?
I think you have to go with Evan Nolte. It's hard to ignore the skill set that he brings to the table, his ability to shoot it from three-point land, his ability to crash the boards and really help out on that. I mean, he's just an all-around good player. His leadership skills, obviously he led his team to a state championship after being a junior last year and feeling that disappointment of being the runner-up. He did a great job of rallying the troops and leading Milton to a state title their second in 3 years.
Yeah, he really was the heart and soul of that squad.
Great player.
Well, there are more than just 5 great players here in North Fulton, and it's time to unveil the All NFPR second team, and we start with Milton's Charles Mann.
You know the talent's pretty good when a guy like Charles Mann is on the second team. The starting point guard from Milton averaged 12 points a game and 8 assists per game. Team went 25-0 when he was on the floor. He is a senior this year, committed to the University of Georgia. Of course, unable to play in that semifinal and finals match, but I saw him on the sideline really cheering his team on, and he was a big part of that state championship this year.
Taylor Burchett of Roswell.
A great career for Taylor. He scored over 1,100 points in his career, 12 points per game this year, almost 4 rebounds and 3 assists per game. Just an all-around good player. A 6'4" guard that has a nice stroke from the outside, but has the ability to bang with the bigger guys inside and get rebounds for his team. He's committed to the University of Louisiana Monroe. First D1 signing for Roswell in over a decade.
Carlos Burst of Alpharetta makes the squad.
Another high flyer. He treated us to several big-time dunks this year. Averaged over 16 points a game, 5.5 boards per game. Most improved player award for the team of Alpharetta. Named to the North Junior All-Star team as well. His career probably is going to be in football in the future. A highly rated wide receiver.
We also have Marcus Terry of Chattahoochee.
Yeah, big year for the junior Marcus Terry, 17.1 points per game, 4 assists per game, 2 steals per game. He was actually named the Region 7 Player of the Year, named to the North Junior All-Star Team, All-State Honorable Mention. He is a junior, but he's already being recruited by the likes of Georgia State, Jacksonville, East Carolina, among many others.
And the final member of the second team, Tevin Glass of Milton.
As Coach Boyd calls him, Mr. Double-Double, averaged 15 points and 11 boards per game. He is a 4-star recruit by Rivals and number 81 in the nation. He has offers from Jacksonville, Nevada, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, but I think it's very likely that he'll end up in Auburn. Good friends with Shaquille Johnson. I'm sure that Shaquille is recruiting him to join him on the Plains.
So who are some other players that got it done on the hardwood this season?
I thought the ladies, that they were a very talented group, but it was definitely a lot harder to pick the guys. So many great guys. When you have players like Charles Mann on the second team, some of the players, the Pack brothers from Centennial did an outstanding job this year. Evan Jacks from Northview, Sam Cole and John White from North Springs, and Sean Brennan from Roswell, probably one of the best shooters in the entire North Fulton area. He's going to be a big-time player for the Hornets next year as a senior.
Well, North Fulton was definitely a lot of fun for basketball this season.
Love the hoops. Going to be sad they're gone.
Absolutely. All right, well, that'll do it for this week. Catch us back here on Comcast Channel 25 next week for game highlights and features, and be sure to like North Fulton Prep Rally on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to see what's happening on the show. For Nathan Shutter, I'm Chase Watson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you under the lights.
Grab some wood there, bub.